In just 11 days, we can kiss 2020 goodbye. No doubt we're all feeling a bit eager to put this crazy year behind us. However, it's no secret that things aren't going to just change overnight. Are our expectations for the new year unrealistic, or is optimism truly the key to keeping ourselves motivated and overcoming the trials of 2020? Let's discuss. Today, I welcome the music and mind of Columbia, Missouri native and Nashville, Tennessee rising star pop country singer-songwriter Hallie Kearns, and also Jessica Bailey of today's featured cause, New York City Faith in Action. I'm Amanda Ashley, and this is episode 73, Optimism. Welcome to Afternoon Cocktail, Season 4. Hi, Miss Hallie Kearns. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. Thanks so much for being on our show. I love your album.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Really
Oh,
appreciate
definitely. What song are you going to kick us off with?
I think I'm gonna do my little heartbreak song, the newest one that just came out. This was one of the two new ones that came out on the album. But I want to play this one because I don't want to leave you on a sad note later on. So I'm just gonna bum you out now until we can focus on optimism from here on
we
out.
could we could talk through it.
All right. Well,
Awesome.
this is before he could. I'll get started on it. It was all Friday nights with a glass of rosé, staying inside, talking over the rain coming down. It was all Sunday morning, walks in the park, blue sky watching me in his arms, till I started thinking about how it all seemed too good to be true, and if I leave now, I'll have less to lose. And so I ran from what I wanted. That front door was my way out. I pulled out the driveway, then turned on the highway, headlights looking down the easy route. Yeah, I saw forever in his need you eyes. He didn't deserve to hear goodbye, but I was scared to let my heart do what it should, so I broke it before he could. Yeah, I know I let a good thing go, but when I started looking down that long road, I could see everything falling apart. So I went ahead and got a head start, and I ran from what I wanted. That front door was my way out. I pulled out the driveway and turned on the highway, headlights looking down the easy route. Yeah, I saw forever in his need you eyes. He didn't deserve to hear goodbye, but I was scared to let my heart do what it should, so I broke it before he could leave me. Kitchen floor crying, kicking myself, asking God why, and praying someday that he'll turn back around. Oh, probably like he's hoping I will right now, because I ran from what I wanted. That front door was my way out. I pulled out the driveway, then turned on the highway, looking down the easy route. Yeah, I saw forever in his need you eyes. He didn't deserve to hear goodbye, but I was scared to let my heart do what it should. Yeah, I was scared to let my heart work like it should, so I broke it before he could. Yeah, I broke it before he
Beautiful, Hallie. I love it. I love that song, and I mean all these songs on this album. They're pretty different, actually. I mean, I love the Big Shoes to Fill. That is definitely one of my favorites, and we'll talk more about that a little
Yeah,
bit later. But you were saying this year, you just released this album. It's titled Finally on December 11th, and you said it was 5 years in the making, right?
yeah, yeah. It's been a long time coming for sure.
Could you tell me about it? I mean, what you got to feel so good right now, right? To kind of like just get that out there. And you said you're kind of kicking it back right now, right? You're back at home in Missouri, ready
Yes,
for
I'm
the holidays.
No, but you're so right. It's just felt like this massive sigh of relief, and just that's why we decided to name it Finally, just because it really does feel like not only is it finally out after working on it for so long, I finally have music out, I finally am putting out an EP, but I finally feel like I've stepped into like where I want to be as far as my artistry goes and that kind of thing. So I just feel like I'm finally in the place to do all of this, and it just felt like an appropriate title for this EP.
Yeah, definitely. How did you come to know yourself as an artist? So you don't actually come from a musical family, correct?
No, not at all. I I think it's just a lot of time and a lot of um, trial and error for sure. But I started playing music out full time right after I graduated high school. I went right into playing music, and I performed out for like 3.5 years, about 300 shows. And I finally moved to Nashville in March of 2019, and I took that whole first year just to focus on nothing but the songwriting portion. And I think through all of the shows and all of the rights and just doing so many different things, trying out so many different things and failing at them and then succeeding at some and just weeding that out that way. I think that's how I finally stepped into um, the position I'm in now, and like the confidence I have behind my artistry comes from trying a lot of other things and knowing it just wasn't me.
Sure. I mean, it's a big jump to Music City, right? I mean, did you feel like how has your time in Nashville changed your perspective on music business and what have you learned in your time there?
I was told a lot before moving there that you have to be in Nashville, you have to go there in order to do this as a career. And I didn't really understand it, but I think people say that only because the learning curve is really exponential once you move there. Like um, my 3 4 years in Kansas City playing shows, I learned probably more in the first 3 months in Nashville. Just, I mean, obviously different set of things you're learning, but it's just everyone there has that same passion, that same drive, that same dream. So whenever you're surrounded by people constantly who are just they're inspiring in that way, and everyone it's the topic of conversation all the time, and you're just submersed in it. I think it's yeah, the learning is exponential for sure.
When did you start writing music and playing guitar? You also play piano, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I say that lightly because a piano, expert would watch me and just be like, "You don't play piano." But I started playing guitar when I was about 13, and I wrote my first song, I believe, at 15 years old.
Awesome. And when you say that you were performing these 300 shows, are you talking like some intimate performances like coffee houses, restaurant type gigs where you're playing your music and maybe some covers? Or, um, I mean, could you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, it's everything you can imagine. I've played any kind of show
Yeah.
that you can think of. Um, I started at a lot of coffee houses. I really liked that vibe just because I was really, really shy starting out. I'm really nervous to get on stage and that sort of thing. So I think coffee houses felt like a very comforting, and you're sitting down, you're playing your kind of background music, and I really liked that starting out. But I played a lot of coffee houses, then I played a lot of wineries, a ton of wineries across Missouri and Kansas, breweries. And then I worked my way into like smaller music venues and then theaters, and it just kept growing on itself. But yeah, a lot of like outdoor little festivals and that sort of thing too.
So fun. So, I mean, it's killing us all as musicians and artists. You know, COVID has obviously stripped our performances away from us. How have you been coping with that? And, how in turn has this changed your interaction with your fans and viewers?
Yeah, well, it's changed absolutely everything for me. I think is really it has everyone, but I have really tried hard this year to find the silver lining among everything going on. And I think it's a cool title to name this episode Optimism, because I've really tried hard among a crazy, crazy year to stay really optimistic and just really focus in on the things you can control, and the music I'm making and everything like that. So I was supposed to go on a little mini tour in California in April, March, April, and that all got canceled, obviously. So I had a lot of free time, and I was like, what am I supposed to do now? And I actually got pushed into the studio a lot sooner than I anticipated because of that, and got to record these 5 songs that are on the EP and start that whole track. And definitely wanted to go on tour, and I didn't at all expect to release my first EP during a global pandemic. That was not anticipated at all. Now that we're here, I'm really, really thrilled with the way it all played out. And I've gotten to do a lot of cool, like these type of situations, just live performances and interviews and that kind of thing, where it's slowed me down a lot in order to, I think, be able to connect with people in a very different way. But definitely, yeah.
Do you feel that like platforms like this and live streaming has kind of brought you closer to your fans and has kind of spawned new fans in the process?
I definitely think so. Yeah. I'm through this kind of thing. I mean, whenever I'm touring and that kind of thing, it is a different connection whenever you get to meet someone in person and give them a hug and that sort of thing. But it is great getting to meet people that I probably never would have gotten to meet otherwise. You know, people who are just all over the country, all over the world, that I'm getting to like say hi to and interact with in real time and that sort of thing. I hadn't done a single live until COVID hit. So, and I've done probably 60 at this
Countless.
point.
Yeah. Do you do them pretty regularly?
Yeah, we have this little chart going of all my little live performances and everything, and between interviews and podcast and all that sort of thing, I think we're at 140 since July.
Wow, that's awesome. It's fun. You know what? I think like this is such a great opportunity with just releasing an album, that you put so much, sweat into, to be able to celebrate it and to um, have this time right now to connect with people beyond Missouri and Nashville, like to be talking to somebody in New York.
Yeah,
And to spread your awareness of your music to our people here. I think that in a lot of ways, it's kind of probably the best case scenario for putting out a new album in some ways. Obviously, you want your performances to support it, but not really such a bad way to get out there and to get recognition, right?
I completely agree with everything you're saying. Absolutely, I think it played out probably the best way it could have, and regardless of everything going on, with the pandemic and everything, I think this was just a really special way to release an album, and not at all, expected this way. But it's turned out really cool, and I'm very thankful.
I think this time kind of teaches us about, well, everybody's kind of more in tune with themselves because we have to be. We're all going through a lot of things right now and experiencing a lot of emotions. So to be able to feel like you could connect with an artist on a real level, I think kind of translates pretty well, and having these intimate live streaming performances that I'm seeing from all of our past guests, that I've done, like my friends are doing, I don't know, I think it's really kind of beautiful in a way. And I mean, that to me, it's forced us all to do something different too, and to challenge ourselves in a different way.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that a lot.
So you're home in Missouri. You're very close with your family, it seems like. I love your song, Big Shoes to Fill. It's such a beautiful song. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write it and just kind of the background story to it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, like you said, I'm extremely close with my family. I have 3 sisters. I'm the second oldest. And I am incredibly close to my dad. And he's just the best man I've ever known in my entire life. He's done everything for my sisters and I, and just really tried hard to show us how we deserve to be loved and treated by someone that comes into our life later on. And so this is kind of, it's what that song's about. It's just speaking directly to my future someone, just being like, hey, I I already know how I deserve to be loved and treated by someone because I had a really good example of that growing up. So like if you're going to try and like be that person for me, I just understand you have really big shoes to fill in that role, because yeah, he's just, and it was a really cool song to write, not only because it's how I feel and it's my story, but it's also my 3 sisters' story as well. They all have the same relationship with my dad that I do. And so um it's cool kind of being able to write that, like family anthem almost, where it's just like we all feel that way and we all are just really thankful for him. So it was a really cool gift to be able to give him. And it's definitely translated, I think, the best out of any of my songs to the listeners. And that makes me really, really thankful because it is by far my favorite on the album and the most special song to me that I've released so far. So having people resonate with it's really cool because I think it's one of those songs that, or my hope is that not only is it for people with that people who have a relationship like that with their own father, but maybe it's their mom who's that role, or maybe it's the significant other that comes along later on and shows them that. But I just want this to be like a song that's like, hey, you're worth being loved really, really well and valued just as the same. So yeah.
I love the contrast of this song compared to the other songs. The other songs are a little bit, light and fun, and they have great, like I love the messages in them too. But this definitely, listening to it, it's felt, and that as translated to a listener, I think is exactly what you want to achieve as a songwriter. So kudos to you, girlfriend. It's a beautiful song. It's like I could see like a father-daughter dance type song for sure.
That is my dream. If anyone ever danced that song, I would, yeah, that'd break my heart. I plan on, I mean, I don't know if I can dance to my own song. I feel like that's
You
kind of
can? I did it. I did
Is
it. I
that
actually
is that normal? I don't know if that's is that like yeah, but I definitely wrote it with that in mind, and we kept the production super stripped down for that same reason. Like, want it to be like the piano wedding song, you know?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I hear that. And I love the video too with you and just the piano, the
Yeah,
white piano. It's so, yeah, it's perfect.
thank you.
Um, no, I don't think it's weird. I did this. So I'm a songwriter also, and I wrote my song was called Song for Dad. And I wrote it right, it was about like daddy's little girl kind of growing up and going off to college kind of thing. And I got married when I was your age, and I recorded it with my band, and that was my surprise to my father. So he didn't know. We never even
Yeah,
discussed like what song we would dance to, and I had like a whole slideshow of him and I behind us as we danced, and everybody was like, there was not a dry eye in the
I
house.
just hear the songs. Oh my gosh, you can't do that to him. Your poor
Oh
dad.
my God. I don't even know why I did that to myself, but it was beautiful. It was a beautiful tribute, and it was a special moment in my life, with my father. So do
Oh,
it. Do it. I recommend it
so sweet.
someday.
That's already a hard enough moment though. Like that's such a sweet, vulnerable moment, and you just were like, "Let's tip this over the edge." I love that. That is so special.
Oh yeah, and especially like after a while, at that point in the night, people had drinks in them. And they're just like, ah, like they come in of like all ugly faced, like, why'd you do that to us? I hate you. It was so
Sobbing.
funny.
Everyone's like, "Okay, it's over. We're going home." Like that. You can't go back to normal after that.
So, what was your father's reaction when he heard this song? Was he like just sobbing?
So actually, I wrote this song probably 3 months before he heard it, and I always send him songs that I'm working on, and when I get done with a demo or something, I always send it right over to him. So he thought it was really weird that I wasn't sending him the song right away. And I'm like, look, it's just not like where I want it to be yet, and I know you'll really, really like it, so I want to kind of hold on to this one. And he kept calling it the mystery song, and I'm like, I can't let him know that this song's about him. Like, I can't let him be. He's smart enough to like read me, So I'm like, okay, how can I? And so I told him I was like, the production is so your style. Like, you're just gonna love it. I know it's gonna be your favorite song I've ever written. And that way, I kind of like moved him away from thinking it was about him. And then he was in Nashville with my little sister London, and I told her about it, and I was like, I need you to film this from the back seat. I'm gonna play it for him in the car because I just got all my
Aw.
first mixes back for all my songs. So we're playing through all of them. I was like, "Do you want to hear the fifth song?" He's like, "Oh, the mystery song. Yes, let's hear it." So London's in the backseat recording, and I play it for him. And we get about to the pre-chorus before he realizes, like what's going on, and he's just like, and then sobbing.
Aw.
And I start sobbing. We're both really up front, just crying. And I got it all on video. And he's like, "You better never do anything with that video. You can't like do that to me." So naturally, I went and I put it on TikTok and made a.
It made him go viral. That's a good daughter.
But yeah, it was a really sweet moment. Really, really cool to get to share that with him and watch his reaction in person.
I love that. I think that's what a special gift to someone, right? Like, could you imagine? I mean, I don't know. Nobody's ever written a song about me. At least I don't know if they have. Maybe they don't want to tell me.
Yeah,
But
more fascinating, but no, I'm just
I
kidding.
mean, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it probably wouldn't be as tender as that, as what you're giving somebody. But yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing, and I'm happy that was able to give that to my dad too. So and to like put that on an album that you worked so hard on, and this is like really a milestone for you, like that goes to show you how much he means to you, and I think that's awesome.
Definitely.
Happy belated birthday. You just turned 23, right?
4.
24. How do
Yeah.
you feel?
Old.
Old? Oh my God,
I know
please.
I know I'm not old, but like, something about 24 feels so much older than 23, and I can't explain that, but, my dad came in the room earlier today in the living room, and he goes, "You realize you're, like, 1 year away from being a quarter century old." I was like, "Why'd you do that?" I was like, "You would go away." I was like, "You're half a century old. Go. Get out of here." But that's wild, you know? I don't know. Time's flying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it will continue to do so. Yeah, I'm like 10 years your senior. So like I remember feeling that actually when I was 24, because it's like you're not quite 25, but you feel like you have to you think about it a little bit more because you're hitting like a milestone, like that's like your first like age milestone. I feel actually no, 21 and then 20, I say 25 and then 30, is the next one. But you learn so much in um, those like age blocks. You know what I mean? Like you ever have to like check off a block, like what age group you're in? It's like you're grouped in those boxes for a reason. Because like I think like every 5 years you just go through these transitions. Do you maybe you feel that, and that's why you're like, oh, 24.
At this point, and just, I don't know, something about 24 just hit me different, and I've never been weird on, like, the birthdays or getting old or anything like that, but I'm like, 24? I'm in my mid-20s now, and I feel like I'm an adult. I feel like I'm supposed to be grown up now, and I'm just like, "Am I it? Am I?"
You have time. I was a mess when I was 24, so you're doing just fine. uh, so, I mean, what do you want like going into your 25th year? What do you want for yourself? Do you know? Have you decided?
I really am experiencing it right now, and I feel like it's almost hard for me to wrap my head around sometimes that I really am living my dream right now, and I have to, like, just sit and process it, and that's kinda what I was telling you a little bit before the show, like, I feel I feel like it's finally setting in for me that this album is out and that I am doing this for a living. Like, it's really, really cool, and it just sometimes you get so caught up in the grind and, okay, what's next? Okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, that you don't sit and think and process like this is so cool. All my hard work, like this is I just need to sit in it and enjoy it for a minute. So I'm working really hard just to like be a little more present with it and just enjoy these moments while they're here. And I really want to bring that into next year, 2021, and just continue to ride that grateful wave and just put more music out for sure. I would love to obviously get on the road again if that's an option. And um, yeah, that's what 24 looks like.
I was going to ask you, yeah, do you plan on recording more, or
Yeah.
are you already recording more?
Yeah, so I'm not in the studio yet, but I am writing for the next project already. I started right before the album came out. I started writing again.
Good. So, I mean, so is your plan really just to kind of promote this and then start recording and writing for a new album? Are you looking to release another EP or just kind of go by singles?
I haven't quite figured that out yet. I think it kind of depends on what I come up with and what I don't want to force anything, and I don't want to write just to release. I want these songs to be authentic to me still and make sure they're I'm not just pushing things to push, But I'm thinking a single, at least one, maybe two, and then we'll see as far as what the next project looks like.
Sure. That's awesome. And then, so who did you record with for this album? Were you recording in Nashville or Missouri?
Yeah, I recorded in Nashville with a guy named Steven Sharp as my producer. He's awesome. He's down in Franklin, Tennessee, and He he's just the best. He was so patient with me, and I obviously this is all new to me, this portion of things. So I needed someone who was gonna really just let me be a part of the process, even though I'm a slow learner when it comes to that stuff, and just let me try to get my voice out, even though I don't know the lingo and all that kind of thing. And he was just so great and talked me through everything and took so much time with me and made these songs exactly what I wanted them to be. So very thankful for him and glad I met him this year too.
I love the production. I think it sounds so good. I mean, so when you go in Stephen, did you say was his name?
Mhm.
When you work with Stephen, is it you just kind of present him with like just you vocals, piano or guitar, and then you kind of just push it his way, record your part, and then he does his magic?
Yeah, I for these 5 songs I showed him. I had a demo for 2 of them, and the rest of them I just played for him on guitar. And I was like, "Hey, this is what I have going on, and these are kind of like references for what like the vibe I'm wanting it to kind of go towards." And then we spent, about a week, 2 weeks on each song, just trying to figure out production wise where we want it to go. And I got to be there for the whole process, which I really, really enjoyed because I didn't want. That was my biggest fear going to the studio was just like kind of doing that whirlwind experience where you walk in, they take over, and you leave again. I'm like, I want my hands on this. I want to make sure this music is mine, not only like the lyrics and the melodies, but I want to make sure like this whole production is mine too. So he really let me be a part of that process, which I really, really enjoyed. Because again, I didn't really know anything before going into the studio, so um, letting I would just have to use terms like I don't know how to explain it, but I really want this to be more like sparkly right here. He'd be like, okay, so you want, and we try out a couple of things. He just taught me a lot, and it was a really fun experience. It was weeks and weeks long. It was awesome.
Was that your first time in a studio like that, or had you had like prior experience?
I mean, I've done a lot of demos and that sort of thing just in rights, but my only other experience was not a great one, unfortunately, and I won't go into too much detail about it. But it was before I moved to Nashville. I, it was kind of my Nashville horror story. Everyone has one of those. So I, I went to Nashville and recorded in this like big elaborate studio, and I didn't know at the time anyone can rent those out, but got kind of played by.
Blindsided?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good word for it. But he took 6 months to get me back my first mixes, and it was one of those things where I walked in, sang the song, and got out, and didn't have any part of the music production or anything. So I didn't know what I was getting into and that kind of thing, and that's why it was really really important for me to be a part of the process with my next one.
Why did it take so long? Like what was the excuse?
There wasn't really one. I kind of got ghosted for a minute. Like he wasn't responding to any calls or anything. It was really one of those like I was very naive and young, and I didn't have any experience yet, and I wasn't living in town, so I think it just saw a money opportunity, and which is unfortunate. But those kind of people exist, and
Exist?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what did that whole experience teach you about yourself, though? I'm sure, I mean, as unfortunate as it was, I'm sure you had some kind of positive takeaway from it, right?
Definitely a huge one. It was a huge blessing in disguise because it was almost like a mirror held up for me. As soon as I got them back, I listened through them and I was like, it's not that the production's bad. It's not that they're mixed terribly. It's that these songs are not me at all. And I hadn't really come to terms with that because everything I'd done had just been on acoustic guitar or piano. So it's hard to know whenever everything's super stripped down. But I got these songs back and I'm like, I don't even know who this is. Like, I'm not writing anything that matters to me. I'm not writing anything um, that I don't really even live these songs. You know what I mean? So it was a big kind of like self checkpoint where I just realized that's when I really wanted to hone in on, okay, if I'm going to be an artist, what do I have to say, and what do I want to be about? What do I want people to feel when they really listen to me? And so that's kind of whenever I went into that year of, okay, let me write and really write and just figure out what I'm about and what I'm going to fall into.
What a perfect lesson to take away from that. I mean, that's huge. And I think that, I mean, I always tell my students this. I teach too on the side, and my vocal students, I say to them, when you sing a song or when you go to write a song, like when we're doing songwriting type stuff, think about some of your favorite artists and those songs that just had a hold on you, and think about what elements of that song make that song what it is to you. You know, like what about that song makes you feel? What about like the parts that are being sung, give you goosebumps? Like what does all that for you? And then incorporate that into your own. I mean, what artists have done that for you?
I love that. Oh, there's so many. So starting out, growing up, I listened to all 90s country, a lot of females in 90s country. So like Martina McBride and Faith Hill and the Dixie Chicks. And the first song I ever remember actually like hitting me like that was Concrete Angel by Martina McBride. So my mom tells the story all the time, but I was 6 years old listening to that song in my car seat, and she looks in her rearview mirror, and I'm sobbing, like 6 years old in my little car seat, whatever, just crying. And she's like, "What is going on? Like, are you okay? What?" And she like pulls the car over because I'm just crying. And I'm like, I guess I explained, like, that's the first time I've heard the song 1,000 times. I knew every word to it, but I just like processed finally what the words were saying. And this little girl dies in the song, and I'm just crying. And my mom just got out. She holds me and she's holding me. She's like, it's okay. It's a song. But that's the first song that like hit me. And I realized that like lyrics can do that to someone. Like you can actually make someone feel something like that through music. And I always searched for that growing up, and Taylor Swift was actually a huge one in like my preteen, like early teen years, because that's whenever all of her music was coming out, and I loved her growing up, and it was one of those things like, okay, I relate to this boy issue and that sort of thing, and I loved that, and it inspired me to write. Um, and then Casey Musgraves is a huge one for me now. I love her so.
Oh my God. I love, 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 love her. She's so amazing. I was supposed to see her this summer and I'm so sad about it. Yeah, she was performing at Bonnaroo and I had this like golden ticket, which that's what it felt like, to
Yeah,
like this most amazing festival. And she was one of the artists, her and Lana Del Rey. I was like so looking forward to seeing, and yeah, that dream got demolished. But
hopefully that can happen one day. Then I saw
I
her
hope so.
live at Stagecoach.
Oh, was this so good?
Oh my gosh, yeah, just she just has this elegance about her whenever she's on stage. She just like floats across the stage, and she's perfect. I love her.
She is. She's so beautiful. And I just love how honest she is. Like she's a perfect like example of a songwriter that I'm just like I love how quirky she is with her lyrics, the imagery she uses to just, like to tell her stories.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, she's outstanding. I definitely love her. That's cool. Yeah, I hope to see her someday for sure. What is the most important message you'd like to extend to your fans and to our audience during these difficult times?
Well, that's such a good question. You know, I think just learning to be adaptive and just looking for those silver linings, like kind of what we just talked about earlier, like finding those little moments of, yeah, this is a really weird world we're living in right now, and this year is super crazy, and thank goodness it's about to be over. But there's so much good that comes out of weird circumstances like this, and even just getting us to slow down and look inward. And I think I believe truly that everything happens for a reason, and I don't think all this would be happening without a lot of intent behind it. And I think if it causes us to like hug our loved ones a little tighter whenever we get that chance again, and when I think it's all worth it in a sense. It's just it's a crazy time, but it's just a good moment for self-reflection and growth.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that 100%. What's next for you? So do you have any upcoming live streams or yeah, like what's up and coming for you?
Yeah, so I have a couple more tomorrow, and then I'm taking the 23rd week off, through the Christmas holiday. My dad actually kind of forced me to. He's like, you gotta stop. Like, he's like, come on.
Good.
He's like, be home, and I'm really glad because again, it's been really nice to be home and just kind of sit and soak this in, and it's been awesome. But I am taking a little bit of a little break and then getting back into it before the new year starts. And January, I'm just writing like crazy, and I'm gonna try to get some more music out.
Yes, do it, do it, do it.
Yeah.
How do you guys celebrate Christmas? Or, I mean, how do you normally celebrate the holidays?
Oh, typically it's a little different this year because typically we go to Florida, and we, instead of presents and all like the traditional Christmas, we go on vacation, and just all get the family together and stay in like a little beach house, and it's really great. It's just a cool way to mix it up a little bit, and we do crab legs for dinner. That's one of my favorite traditions. But this year, obviously due to COVID, and also my little sister just had a baby in September.
Oh, yay, that's fun.
So he's 3 months in December, or December 25th will be his 3 month marker. So it's difficult to fly and everything like that. So we are just staying home this year. It's the first year we've done this in like 6 years. So we're going to do a really traditional Christmas this year, but we're still doing crab legs for dinner.
That's fun. Crab legs are always good. How fun. Is she the first baby in the family?
First grandbaby. Yeah.
Yay, that's exciting.
Literally the most perfect thing ever. I had a live stream yesterday and I brought him on. I was like, look at him. And the viewers kept going up and up and up with the baby. And I was like, okay, you just got to stay here the whole time.
Honestly, it's amazing what a child or a cat will do to your feet. It's like no joke, you know, like there was like a Netflix special that was like don't F with cats or something. It was actually a really creepy like thing that we watched. But yeah, it's true. Like there's like this whole like cat and like baby following people just go crazy. Like when I had my son, I thought like my music career was over. I was like, this kid just made me more popular somehow. Like, it's funny.
How old is he?
He's 4, so I'm excited for Christmas.
Oh, that'll
Bo
be
and I were, oh yeah, it's so fun. Like as they grow up, you know, like he's just like right in that sweet spot for
fun.
like, you know, he's more aware of himself and what he likes, and you know, like we've been watching Christmas movies and stuff with him. So like he's just, you know, on the Santa train right now, and he's super stoked to like get gifts this week. So
Are you getting
um,
snow there right now?
we got snow earlier, like towards the end of last week. We had like about 4 or 5 inches here, no, maybe like 4 inches. And then downstate New York, where I'm from, in Long Island, I know they got about like 12 inches.
Oh my gosh.
Just so funny because it's usually the opposite. Like when I moved up here, everybody's like, "Oh my god, like you're gonna like, what are you doing? Like going out in this cold weather?" And now everything's like flip flopping. So I was like, "Ah,
Bring in the sun. Yeah.
yeah, your turn." You know, everybody made fun of me, but I like the snow. I love
I do
it.
too. I do too. If I'm gonna be somewhere cold, I'd rather it be snowy than just cold, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I like it definitely more now that I'm not driving all over the place in it.
Mhm.
You appreciate it a little bit more, but especially with Remy, you know, like my son, it's just it's fun to get out and get on a sleigh and build a snowman, you know, like that's where like this time has become pretty precious, you know, where I'm not as rushed to be able to do those things.
Oh, I love
Um,
that.
yeah, enjoy your nephew. That's so fun. And then
I
have a
I can't.
beautiful Christmas.
Oh, bring him over. I gotta squeeze him.
I'm sure your sister is happy to put him in good hands, you know?
Like, I'm like, he's growing. Oh, I'll rock him. She's like, please take him.
Yeah. It's like any little break a parent could get, they're happy. So you're
Here
doing
with
a good thing for her.
babysitting for the first time, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's hard not to fall in love, you
Mhm.
know? Do you want to play us out one more song?
I would love to. Absolutely. Get this situated. All right, let's play a little happy one. Leave on an optimistic note.
I like it.
I'm gonna play you. So this was the first single I had out. This is called "Pick Me Up," and this came out July 31st. It is exactly what the title is. It's a little pick me up, and I thought this would be a good first single to release this year because obviously it's been a crazy year, and I think everyone is in need of a little pick me up. So I hope you like it. This is it. It's been a long week. I work 9 to 5 plus overtime, and I barely made it to Friday, but now I'm finally free to do whatever I want. And if it's up to me, well, it's you. With your headlights in my front lawn, I just need a little pick me up, so come pick me up. We can hit the liquor store, spend 23 bucks, get drunk on cheap champagne, forget about the world while we listen to the rain. I'm in need of some TLC, and the only way I want is with your lips all over me. Yeah. Tell me what you're waiting for, I'll be waiting on the front porch for you to pick me up, cause I need a little pick me up. I can't wait to see your baby blues and ride with you in your Chevrolet and pull off the highway, sit in your driveway for 10 minutes too long, too busy making cheap champagne. Forget about the world while we listen to the rain. I'm in need of some TLC, and the only way I want is with your lips all over me. Yeah. Tell me what you're waiting for. I'll be waiting on the front porch for you to pick me up, 'cause I need a little pick me up. Monday's gonna come around again, but that's alright as long as I get you for the weekend. Well, I just need a little pick me up. Yeah, come on over and pick me up, 'cause I'm in need of some TLC, and the only way I want is with your lips all over me. Tell me what you're waiting for. I'll be waiting on the front porch for you to pick me up, 'cause I need a little pick me up. Yeah. Oh, baby, come pick me up.
I love that one. I love the guitar riff on that. It's so cool.
Thanks so
Yeah.
much.
Hey, Hallie, Merry Christmas. And I wish you so much continued success in 2021. I'll be following you. And I hope you all do too back home. Where could our audience be directed to your music and learn more about you?
Thank you so much, first of all. Merry Christmas to you. HallieKearns.com has absolutely everything linked to it, but all of my socials, all of my music streaming platforms, everything, it's just Hallie Kearns.
I love it. Make sure you go check it out and download her songs. The album is killer. I love it. So please, you guys check it out and make sure you like her Facebook page and yeah, find out more about her at HallieKearns.com. I'm going to leave you guys off with my words on optimism. Everyone right now just about wants to kick this year down to the ground, and I'm with you. I mean, with 2021 within our reach, that eagerness of starting fresh feels more real than ever. The hope that things will resume somewhat like how they used to be, in many ways, kind of feels like a dream. Realism will tell you that we still have a few more hurdles and a long road ahead of us. But optimism will tell you that help is on the way and that we are ready to stronghold and just keep pushing forward. Go ahead and get charged up. Hope and expectation are exactly the motivation we need to pull us up from the mud right now. We are all dirty, pissed, and exhausted and ready to kick this next year's ass. Why? Because this last one was a difficult one on every level, and you survived. No matter what, we've already proven ourselves in every possible way because not only did you survive, but you are wiser, you are stronger, you are ready, you know what you want, you know what you need to get by, you know who you love and who loves you. You know who is there. And because of all of this, you are more in touch with you and your emotions. These are amazing accomplishments. So congratulations. And let's do this next year right. Thank you all for tuning in. Special thank you to Beau Productions and to our local sponsors, Blades Catering, Rochester Woman Online, Chris Sirianni at IT Insights Rochester, and Bridget Hogue of Empire Realty. Also, big shouties to our Patreon sponsors, James Farley of Northwestern Mutual and Maiden Voyage Studios. You guys, Afternoon Cocktail is now available on all podcasting networks, and all our previous video casts are archived at our YouTube page, afternooncocktail.show. So please make sure you take the time to subscribe and catch up on all 72 episodes worth of inspiration. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you back here soon afterwards. Have a great day.